Hey everybody, Adam here with Hometown Acres. Welcome back. So I've got a pond update for you guys. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, this summer we installed about a 0.6 acre pond in our front yard. We finished construction on November 9th. We're right around the end of February. So that works out to about 108 days since construction finished and we started filling the pond naturally with spring water and rainwater and snow melt. Now when we finished construction on the pond, I promised you guys I would put together a time lapse of the pond filling. And even though it's not quite full yet, I've made good on that promise to start compiling that time lapse. So let me show you, even though it's not quite full yet, where the pond sits today. So yeah, there you go. As we walk around the pond dam here, that was 108 days or 3.5 months or 15 weeks, however you want to look at it. But there's a good look at how much ice we have left. This is all open water here right now. And you can actually see, it was kind of cool how the ice broke away as it's starting to melt for the springtime. You can still kind of see the circles there for our curling rings that we had out here this winter, but the ice kind of detached from this side. Our westerly winds came and pushed it back up against that corner of the pond, and kind of the whole center slab of ice just shifted that way. But yeah, we are definitely getting there. I would estimate that we're probably about 50% full right now. If you look, the entire surface area of the floor of the pond is full, with the exception of the beach area over there. So now we just have to let that water creep up the banks here, which I know is going to take the longest, because if you think every inch of water that it's got to come up over the diameter of this entire pond is a tremendous amount of gallons of water. So when this pond is completely full, it's going to be about 12 feet deep in the deepest part. So in order to find out how deep it is right now, all we need to do is measure from the water level up to the top of the standpipe there and subtract that from 12. And that'll tell us how deep it is right about out here where the deepest part is. That's reading about 4 feet from the water level up to the top here. So if we take 12 minus 4, that means right out about there is already 8 feet deep. Now the next thing I want to check is the internal plumbing of the standpipe. Just make sure that everything is working before we get to full pull. Last thing I want is the pond to be full and then we find out we've got some kind of obstruction or something in the standpipe. Now the reason this is a concern to me is, I don't know if you can see down in the bottom there, but there is actually water down at the bottom. And I think the reason is we've got a little bit of a belly where that 90 goes out through the dam. So it kind of goes down and then back up before it drains out, which isn't a huge problem as long as there's no sediment that gets stuck in that and plugs it up. So we've got to clean out here on the back side of the dam. We're going to go check, make sure it's dry right now. We don't have any water seeping through the standpipe right now. So here is our clean out on the back side of the dam. The standpipe is just on the inside of the dam right there, and that 90 runs right through here. This is a clean out, so this is a Y that comes up out. If we did have any kind of blockage in there, we could easily get a snake down in there, snake it through the bottom of the dam and clean it out. And then the drain pipe continues to run underground about 200 yards that way into a culvert down beside the street. So what I'm checking for right now is I want to make sure that this is dry. We don't have any water running through right now because the pond isn't full, so there shouldn't be anything in there. It's dry. We're going to go ahead and take a couple 5-gallon buckets from the pond, throw it down the standpipe, and then come back down here and check that again. There should be water flowing down through there as long as there's no obstruction blocking it. And there we go, we've got water running through. So we know we don't have any obstructions in the standpipe, and we should be good to go for when the pond is full. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about is we do have a slight leak in the back of the pond dam, and it's not so much a leak as it is a very slow seep. If you see right there, you can see that reddish color of the clay kind of seeping through as the water comes out. A lot of people have said to go check out Bama Bass's channel because he just got done installing a 5-acre pond build. And trust me guys, I have watched every single one of his videos on his pond build, and that guy spared no expense when it came to installing his pond. They had structural engineers design the pond dam. They took soil samples to make sure they had the right soil matter for building a pond, that it perked properly, that it would hold water. And they trucked in, you know, 150 triaxle loads of clay for a clay blanket. I mean, they did everything by the book, and their pond still leaked. So that makes me feel a little bit better that, you know, we didn't go through all of that trouble that he did, and our pond is leaking, but we still end up with the same results. And he actually found a solution to that, and it's some kind of 2-part polymer. I need to go back and watch his videos again to see exactly what it was that he bought, but we plan on doing the same thing. Basically, you have 2 different chemicals, you throw them in the water, they combine and form some kind of like jelly-like substance. They sink to the bottom, find where the water is seeping through the dam, and plug the seeps in the soil. Now, it fixed his problem, but he's also down further south where he doesn't have ice on his pond. So once we get the top layer of ice melted off the pond here, we're gonna look into that, get the same stuff, and see if it'll fix our problem as well. So one other thing I wanted to talk about was the flow that we're getting out of our spring head. So if we assume that there's 1.5 million gallons in this pond right now and divide that by 2 because it's only half full, that's 750,000 gallons of water that are in there. If we divide that by 108 days since it filled up, that means that we're averaging about 6,944 gallons per day. If you divide that by 24, 289 gallons per hour that's going into the pond through the spring. And then if you divide that by 60, we're averaging about 4.82 gallons per minute coming out of the spring over the last 108 days to get us half full by this point. What I want to do now is go down there and actually measure and see how much is coming out right now with the spring thaw and all the rain that we've had. All right, so very scientifically, we're gonna go ahead and fill up this 5-gallon bucket and measure how long it takes to fill up. Now I need to wait for this belly to fill up until we start getting full flow. Once we have full flow, put this in there and we'll count how long it takes for it to fill up. Now we got a little bit of a leak in our pipe back here, so we'll have to make sure we subtract that off the time. All right, that's probably about full flow there. All right, I'm gonna call that full. All right, so that took about 30 seconds to fill up a 5-gallon jug, which works out to about 10 gallons per minute. And like I said earlier, we've been averaging about 5 gallons per minute throughout the last 108 days. So right now in the springtime, we are getting double the flow that we've been averaging for the last 108 days. So if we were half full through 3.5 months, averaging about 5 gallons per minute, and right now we're getting 10 gallons per minute, technically we should be up to full pool in about 1.5 to 2 months. Now, as we get into the end of May, beginning of June, that flow rate is gonna slow down quite a bit. So I don't think we'll be full by the beginning of summer, but definitely by the middle to the end of summer, I think this pond should be full. Let me know your guys' predictions down below. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video and pond update, give me a thumbs up, click that subscribe button, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.